Hey, Ed.
Thomas,
How are things?
thanks for coming. Really appreciate it. It's great. I mean, these days we see each other in the kind of annual assembly meeting, but as you know as well, it's not much interaction between us two. It has been a bit difficult
Yeah.
the past years, and you know, it's always it's something easy to say, but I think things did go in a way that they shouldn't have done. Um, we're not here to roll up absolutely all the old issues, but I just want to say that certainly I think also from our side, there were things could have been done in a better way.
I was surprised when you texted me, actually. I was very surprised.
Yeah, I mean, the background is the following. So yeah, thanks for coming. I think the background is the following that we're in this situation already for years, where you are a significant equal shareholder. We are three. Your shareholding is obviously required to some extent to govern the company well. I think that it has come to the stage that it's really not working in practice. So I think we wanted to initiate that conversation. In terms of the bigger picture, I think we are all, we have the same shareholding in the company. So I think that hopefully this conversation will be beneficial to both sides.
That was, yeah. But that was always the case, right? That was since 5 years, since we kind of stopped working together. This has been the case. So what has changed on your side to start this conversation?
I think just willingness to also close the situation, to bring it to an end. It has been so long, and I think at some stage there's value in it for both of us to talk about it and find closure. Whether that will mean whatever that may mean, whether this company will continue to exist, whether we will both have alternative professional options, but I think generally there's value in us bringing this process to a closure.
I see. Why now, still? Why suddenly now? Why not 1 year ago? Why not 2 years ago? We didn't even talk about it. It's been 5 years. And it wasn't the...
Well, we have obviously had the period, how long was it ago, when we when we already discussed the offer. What was it, 4 years ago from now?
Yeah, I think it must be 4 years ago. Yeah, I remember also we talked about it before, and actually at the end of it, John was so mad. I couldn't even make sense of it. He was so mad that he broke the deal at the last minute. If you also remember, like we were more or less coming into terms. And
I mean,
John was so mad and screaming at people and screaming at lawyers and canceling the deal. So actually, this is not the first time we discussed this. We already discussed it, and we tried to make a closure out of that, and that was how it ended. So that's why I try to understand what's the urgency.
At the time, we talked about this together. Yeah, it was certainly we discussed this with much more emotion still. I hope that now at least from a distance point of view, we can maybe be a bit more rational about this. At the time, I think the exchange was only through our lawyers, essentially. Was a very indirect way. I certainly felt mistreated in a way that your negotiation technique at the time was ask for more, and we almost had the deal on the table, and again you asked for more, although we almost agreed. I didn't appreciate that. I hope that today we, can construct a solution whereby we are more thinking about the alignment we actually have. So yeah. Anyways, I mean that's 4 years ago. Let's focus more on the here and now. I think.
As we do it, I just wanna first have a alignment on the last negotiation or last conversation that we had. It wasn't actually, maybe from your perspective, from your guys' perspective, it was asking for more, but from my side, it was just. You also can understand that you guys are still in the business, and I'm the one who left the business, and I was also, as you say, I'm still a equal shareholder, and I was also a equal founder of that business. I had, as you say, I had both rational and irrational benefits and interests in the business, and I lacked it for 4 years, basically for 5 years. And in that case, I just want to have an alignment with you before we talked about the details. So that wasn't asking for more and more and more. It was just trying to understand what real value was created and what my equal and fair share was.
Okay.
It wasn't just pushing you guys for money, because I think after all these years, it wouldn't be fair to say that, right?
Yeah.
We started the business together, and I don't want to go back and discuss how we broke up, but I'm sure you can understand that it wasn't the ideal scenario from my end.
Yeah.
Both in terms of experience and both in terms of you guys talking about me in the industry, which also had like another side effects on my side. I also left a job that I really liked. I also left a job that I created basically with you guys, and which I was driving. So you cannot basically put a number on that. You cannot say, okay, this is 5, or okay, this is 10, or okay, this is 8. So that was my look for making sense of it, like how much value did we create, and how much do I really deserve, and what the process did cost me, because it didn't cost you guys much, right? You kept the business, you still have the business, and I'm the bad guy, I'm the pariah, just out of the company, who needed to look for another job. I was a founder basically, and then now I'm an employee in the competition. So
yeah, but look,
from your side,
from our side, we also massively suffered in total with the situation. I mean, it started off from our side that we could not see. I mean, I try to really say this, trying to say it objectively. I don't want to get too much on the personal side again. I think originally we felt that it was just getting to a point whereby your technical expertise was never put into any question. We always valued that. But we felt that, I think maybe on the personal side it was also a difficult time for you. There was a lot going on. But we felt that you became very just more difficult with our actual clients. You put a lot of pressure on them, and it was more and more difficult to maintain good client relationships at the time. So that was part of the reason where things became very difficult. And after you departed, the business was struggling, and the business is struggling. The business has been, know that the business is essentially profits and revenues have been declining ever since. So we've been massively suffering with you departing, and I'm not sure in what direction it will go. Yeah, if we don't, and that's why now also eventually it's a good time, is to think about bringing a closure to it and finding solutions.
What do you have in mind?
So one of my premises is the following, that you can, the first time around, we simply talked about a number, yeah. We said, you're worth X, and we buy you out, and that's it. I personally think that, first of all, it's very difficult to, determine that number. It's subjective, and we may have very different views about it. I think the number ultimately is dependent upon how valuable the company is, yeah, and ultimately how much money you could generate from selling the company. The money generated from selling the company is ultimately beneficial to all of us. We're equal shareholders, i.e., the more valuable the company is, the more beneficial it is to you, and the more beneficial it is to me. So I would propose to create some alignment between us in terms of potential proceeds from selling the company.
So you guys want to sell the company?
We would think about it, yes.
Why? Why suddenly? You are keeping it already. It is an ongoing business. You have good clients. The client base is still there, as far as I know, and you guys have, other subsidiaries in other countries.
I think that we do still have clients, obviously, and the business is ongoing, but I think the way the business is structured right now, with the ongoing disputes with you, for example, that makes it more and more difficult, to continue going on with this business and this structure. I think if we were to continue this business and have a going concern, I think it would involve some restructuring.
Okay.
So I think from that perspective, I could see a fresh start for all of us.
Okay. So this thing, okay. I just want to make sure if I understand you correctly.
Sure.
Okay. So this thing happened 5 years ago. We still have this dispute. We don't have the communication. We tried it once. We couldn't come to terms.
Yep.
And now you guys want to sell the company.
Thinking about it.
You are thinking about selling the company. And for that, what are you asking me for? You already have a price for the company, and you want to get out of the business, and you also want me to get out of it, or you will change the ownership structure of the company and just buy me out? Which one is it?
In my opinion, at this stage, we don't have an exact price for it, and it will be difficult to determine the exact price, and we may have different views about that.
Okay.
But I think in the medium term, it will come to a sale of the company.
In the medium term? So it's not tomorrow?
In the short to medium term. I don't know, I mean, we would have to talk about, how we can structure it, if we can put a certain time frame to it, certain criteria, etc. But I think the situation which we are in now, and that's maybe you can elaborate on that. I mean, do you feel comfortable with the current situation, the current structure? Does it give you anything in the way it's set up for you personally and professionally? You own the stake, you come to the annual meetings, you try to influence things. Ultimately, usually, the other partner and I essentially vote you down. So you don't have any operational influence, and you sit silently. It's probably also in your interest just to close the situation and trying to maximize the financial benefit. I mean, that's ultimately going back to very original when we founded the company. It was always our idea to scale the company to a certain degree and then eventually get out of it. I mean, yes, we are passionate about the company, but I also think that we could use our acumen and our creativity to create other ventures.
Okay. Yeah, that was a description from your perspective again. I just want to.
No, and I would be quite sure. And I would be very interested what you think about it. How do you see the situation?
No, I don't care. Basically, I don't care. I don't care. This happened 5 years ago, and it was all on me. You guys were together. You guys kept running the business. I had to go to some other place, and I had to look for another job, and I had to leave my, founder identity, and I had to go back to an employee identity in the same sector, and I had to listen to all these people from the industry talking shit about me because of this. So I don't mind coming to meetings and sitting in silence. I can do it for another century.
But
what's the difference? I have it since 5 years. What's the difference? What will be the difference for me?
You wouldn't like to see a closure to it, no?
Depends. Depends on what you guys have in mind. Like, if you ask me, I have my salary, I have my family, and that's already a big scar that I had. I'm being completely blunt and personal with you. That wasn't a nice experience on my side. Not in professional sense, not in personal sense, but I had it 5 years ago, and I'm having it every single day. So I can have it for another century. I can come to the meetings and sit in silence. I already am used to it, but maybe.
But wouldn't you the way this is, industry jargon, but I heard like in your current job, you actually have to travel a lot. So, it's probably much more difficult to actually see your family that regularly and have that balanced lifestyle. Seeing if we could come to a good agreement, and we find a solution, potentially there's enough, financial upside that you can take a different job, refocus, and spend more time with your family as well.
Yeah, that will be a nice option, but you still are talking about buying me out. So
there's a difference between buying you out right now and you foregoing any interest in the company and essentially agreeing on a structure whereby you would be directly aligned with the potential sales proceeds of the company.
You mean in short and midterm?
Yes. Yeah.
So basically, do I understand correctly? You guys want to get out of the business for sure. You guys want to sell it. And in short to midterm, you guys think that this situation can give you hard times. So you want to just get aligned on that.
Yes, I think that I see the alignment financially between us two very strongly because fundamentally our financial reward from this enterprise is entirely tied to the enterprise value. And I think the longer we stay in a dispute and the less we will be focused on reaching a solution between us and selling the business, I think the more the value will deteriorate and the more your value will deteriorate as well as mine.
Okay, if we can get onto something rational, and by rational I still mean this is not a. We also cannot be 100% rational on this, right? We had this dispute, but we cannot basically say, okay, we had everything going on, and we experienced this and experienced that, and the last time we were talking about this, John was screaming at my lawyer. So we also had that. So now you come and say, let's get completely rational.
Look, may I say something?
Let's get aligned on the financials because we are both.
But Thomas, may I say something about that? Also from our side, we feel emotionally the same way. It's not that we also perceived the last negotiation to be extremely difficult. We perceived elements to be unfair. yeah, in a very similar emotional context. I don't know why and how the emotions broke down, yeah, but we are also feeling negative about it. All I'm saying is, in this conversation, I don't see where the emotions help.
Do you have something in mind? Yeah, I don't wanna repeat myself, but guys, I could take it. Like I said, this already happened. We cannot take it back.
Yeah.
And I'm living with this for every single day. I'm the one who lived through this in the industry and in my new job with my family, with you guys as well in the meeting. So I don't have anything to lose. I can keep doing this for another century.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we care only about the financials on the same level.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Like, emotions don't help. But I also think, yeah, that I really need to hear something very rational and a very concrete alignment that will serve us both. Because as I said, there is no reason for me to move. I was very surprised by your SMS. The last time we talked with John, I thought it was over. And I thought this was going on forever. And then I'm open to hear what you will propose.
Yeah. What I would propose is that essentially call it a memorandum of understanding between us, which we would create, which would essentially say that we have an intention of selling the company. We would have to go into the specifics, what that means, time frame, etc. Yeah. So let's leave that out for now. That we would split the proceeds in line with our stake, i.e. a third, which I deem as fair, because I always felt that we have done equal value creation. Arguably, we've obviously done more value creation the last 5 years since you've been out of the business. But I want to forget that. Let's go back. We founded the company, us three together, equal shares. So there should be equal proceeds. What I need from you is that you drop the lawsuits, because the lawsuits will not enable us to proceed with a clean sale of the company. And I would proceed on that basis.
So you basically want me to drop my lawsuit so that I will be able to get what I already deserved.
What do you mean by really deserved?
Okay, we have the equal shares, right?
Yeah.
And if the company would be selling,
yeah, that
will be the thing I would get. So you
would get 1/3 of the value of the company.
That was what was supposed to happen, right? So you want me to drop the lawsuit and forget about things so that I will get what I would normally get.
If we wouldn't have had the dispute. Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, okay. Does that sound reasonable to you? Like, I'm dropping the lawsuit and everything, and we suddenly become friends again. We make peace, and I get what I was already entitled to.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound reasonable?
I think that, first of all, you see it emotionally from your side, we see it emotionally from our side.
Exactly.
Yeah? We see it emotionally from our side that you really didn't act at all in the business interest back in the day, the way we, perceive business interest. The business has suffered a lot because of that. And that was both a professional letdown, and I also perceived that as a personal letdown, because we were very close personally in the past as well. I think we since then simply were aggressive and
Yeah, I get
It was a tit for tat. Yeah, I did this, you did this. Well, we were in the deadlock situation where you don't benefit and I don't benefit. The value for us financially, for both of us, is still in the value of the company. Unless we work on that sensibly together, I do not see how either you or me gets a lot of value out of it. The longer we wait with resolving the conflict, the worse it will get.
So you are basically okay. No, I get it. Then up until the point you guys hired a lawyer to kick me out, I think we have the same perspective and the same personal feelings about it. But yeah, I always thought that wasn't fair. But anyway, so you basically maybe I should like rephrase it as I understand it. That doesn't sound like an offer to me, and to be honest, that doesn't sound like a proposition. That sounds like, can you please drop the lawsuit? And we also will say okay for you to get your share, to which you are already entitled to. So you just kindly ask me to drop the lawsuit for nothing.
No, but the difference is I would put in the document additionally a clear intention, and we can put a timeline against it, that we want to sell a business, i.e. that we put a closure on it. I think that's an important aspect. So what we want to avoid is the situation whereby you drop the lawsuit, we effectively want to continue operating the company forever, yeah? And you would not be part of the business. That's not the intention. The intention is to find a closure to the overall situation by selling the business.
But that would be the case even if you wouldn't talk, right? If you guys wanted to sell the business, I would already get 1/3 of it. Let's say if you didn't contact me, and let's say we wouldn't meet, we didn't meet. So let's say you guys wanted to sell the business 3 months later. We would have the same conversation, right? We would say, you will get 1/3 of the company, we want to sell it to this guy, and this is the offer we have for selling the company, and you will get 1/3 of that. That will be exactly the same conversation.
Sure, you could see it as a similar conversation. I think it would be extremely difficult lining up a sale in the current situation with you effectively not being present, being a 1/3 shareholder, trying to negotiate a sale to an investor with 1/3 shareholder not being present. And yeah, I think that would make the overall situation very difficult. So I think us resolving our conflict would lead to us being able to sell the business. So from my perspective, selling the business is quite a big obstacle without us finding a solution.
I want to help, but I seriously don't understand. I seriously don't understand how it would help if I dropped the lawsuit. It doesn't change anything in the ownership structure. It doesn't change anything for the company perception. I still attend the meetings. I still am there, even if I don't talk. So you can basically ask me to be more active or more engaging in the conversations to be able to sell the company. But I really don't see why I should drop the lawsuit. And I started the lawsuit for a reason, basically.
What was the reason?
We tried to come up with an understanding and with an agreement, right? And that didn't end up well. So I also had my doubts. Like first we named it. As you know, you guys are the guys with the MBAs and everything. I'm the technical guy. I don't understand such stuff. I ask people who do understand.
Mm-hmm.
And I did come up with a price, and they told me to ask double, and because it makes sense in this way, in that way, anyway. And I asked double that price, and you guys were still okay. So I had my doubts about the numbers as well, by the way. I had my double. Okay, I name a number and then I double the number and nothing happens. They still get it. What if I would say 10 folds? Maybe the right number was 10 folds. As I say, like as you also say, you guys are with the MBAs and everything. I'm a technical guy. I didn't understand, and I thought I could trust you as I was trying to exit. But even at that point, I still had my doubts. I named the price, I doubled it. It's still okay. What if I would say like 5-fold or 10-fold? Maybe 10-fold was the right price, and I was just being a fool.
I mean, from our perspective back then, even the initial offer already was generous. From our perspective, it was extremely generous at the time, considering company valuations, etc. I think what has changed since then a little bit, time has gone by. We've all grown older, and that's a much stronger indication of us to find an exit to this company overall. And I think that in that aspect, we share similar interests. Help me out, yeah. But I think for you as well, ultimately, there is an interest to some degree in selling and liquidating the position in general.
Yeah, if you would ask me what I would expect from yeah, of course I have the financial interest in that. Of course, I want to get the value that I helped creating, that I'm entitled to, of course. But on the other hand, guys, I know every situation has two sides, and I know it's been also tough and personal for you maybe, but I'm the one who lost the job. I'm the one who was forced to go away from the company he created. So maybe, like, from what you say right now, I don't feel like I get a compensation or I get nothing for the 5 years I experienced. You basically tell me, if I understand correctly, and if I do not, please correct me and say, no, that's not correct. But what I understand, drop the lawsuit and you will get 1/3 of the company. I don't see any upside for me.
Well, I think
I'm not all in for upsides and everything. I just want to have a nice agreement with you.
Yeah.
But
so
I would get 1/3 of the company anyway. I'm entitled to that.
So two aspects for me. Three actually on that matter. So one is upside. You do get upside. The upside is the following. The upside is that you, rather than paying you out at one single point in time, where a value is determined, you actually get 1/3 of the proceeds of selling the company, which in all likelihood will end up being higher, because we will drive, the business to a point whereby it's very sellable and we can make a good price. So I think that's the upside. You fully participate in the upside, whereas otherwise your upside would be capped. Then I think the other point is, in terms of compensation, I understand where you're coming from. I can see the emotions, but we feel that we have very similar emotions in the way that, because we felt that you acted very irrationally at the time, you hurt the business tremendously. First of all, it was very difficult. Client relationships worsened because of that, and also we obviously appreciate your technical knowledge, and it has always been fantastic. And we've been struggling without having that. So the business suffered because of that. Yeah. So just compensating you, it's kind of like, we could also say we need compensation for the aspect that the business has lost overall. Just what I want to stress, to come back to the point, is that still we're equal shareholders. Ultimately, our value comes from selling the business together. Hence, we should work together in trying to sell the business at the highest price, and us maximizing our personal.
How do you plan to sell a business that worsened?
Sorry?
If you tell me that the business is worse now, how do you plan to sell it? how can you be so psyched about selling it if it is worse? I don't get it. Tell me from the MBA perspective. Like, I don't understand.
Sure.
You tell me the business is worse, the company gets worse, and I hurt the clients and everything, and you are so psyched and motivated about selling.
Look, the business has changed and the business has worsened to some degree, but it is still a good business. Yeah, we are still a very, very interesting company in the market. I think that selling over the next 3 years, we have a great potential to achieve a good return. I think part of the reason why the business has suffered so much also recently is because of all the background noise, us not having an agreement, etc. You know, if you could smooth that a little bit, work productively in the background, we would have to talk about how we can do it, you know, how we can involve you, but work productively towards an exit of selling the business. I think we could really bring it into, you know, I think it's sellable today, but I think, you know, give it another 2 or 3 years. We really drive it, we really push it, and then we seek an exit.
Do you have a valuation in mind? What would the business make if you would sell it today? I'm sure you guys looked into that.
I mean, as I said, at the moment, in my opinion, that's why I do want to caveat all of this, is that with everything ongoing, the lawsuit, with everyone knowing about you know, being a stakeholder, a major stakeholder, but us not being able to talk, with everything that's ongoing, that obviously had a bit of an effect, but we are at 7 million still, yeah. And if you take 7 million, you know, divided by 3, you're at 2+ million for each of us. But I strongly think, yeah, that this number can be significantly improved over the next 3 years.
You tell me that you will sell a business for 7 million today?
No, I didn't say that I would sell today. As I said to you, I do want to use the next 2 to 3 years to bring it on an upward trajectory.
Yeah. But if you would sell it today, you say that the number will be 7, and you will get 7 divided by 3 each.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you guys base the evaluation on profits or revenue?
Kind of have to look what the valuation method was for this one. That one is a revenue-based valuation, but as I understand it, that is what's widely accepted in the market as well.
So it was based on revenues?
It's based on revenues, yes.
Last year's revenues were around 13.
That's correct, yeah.
And you want to sell the business by 7 million?
That's the current valuation, yeah.
I don't know. Like 4 years ago, we were talking about, I don't know, 12 million. And you guys told me that you based the valuation on profits, basically. So how come?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I might have to go back to the data to actually properly understand it.
Yeah.
But 4 years ago was certainly, I mean, you know, however you want to analyze or slice the data, 4 years ago was, you know, it was a boom cycle in the whole industry. I mean, you know, things were going better for all of us, for competitors. It's been much tougher ever since.
I thought that I did hurt the clients and the business, and you say now it was the climax of the business. It doesn't make sense to me. How was it the climax if I did hurt all the clients when I left the company? I left the company 5 years ago.
Yeah, look, it was shortly after, wasn't it? It takes a bit of time until long-term effects come into play. I mean, I don't want to be too scientific about it, but you can't really expect that.
You have time, right?
You see it immediately. Yeah, but let's try to do now.
Yeah. So yeah, first, I don't know. I also want to come to an agreement.
I mean, can I ask from my perspective, what you've heard a lot of my reasoning,
a
lot of the arguments.
Yeah, I tell you what makes sense for me and what doesn't. First, I don't know. Maybe you guys should work with some professional service to do a proper valuation for the company, because the numbers that I heard 4 years ago and the number you are telling me right now do not hold. As far as I can understand this business, 4 years ago you guys were trying to value the company based on profits. Now you say it's based on revenues, and it was 12 million 4 years ago, and it is 7 million now. That will be more or less a 30%, around 30% decrease in the business, or more than 30%, maybe 40%. So first of all, the numbers don't hold in my mind. The second of all, I do not see why you guys are so psyched about selling a business that is dying. You tell me about decreasing numbers, both in terms of valuation and revenues. And third, I'm not holding any grudge. But do you think there's an incentive for me to drop the lawsuit rather than telling me you will get 1/3 of the company? I will already get one. I will already get 1/3 of company. I can also be more aggressive
if you get 1/3 of a company which has a valuation of 0 or goes into bankruptcy, it will mean that your financial outcome ultimately.
So you tell me my lawsuit is still hurting the company commercially, or will hurt the company commercially?
Look, it could be a contributing factor to make it difficult to sell the company.
That's a probability, right? That's not a 100% sure thing.
No, it isn't. I mean, it could very well be that we find an investor as well who's, willing to take a view on it and willing to take a risk. I just, if I was to say that we want to see the business being a going concern over the next 20 years and we can't work together, we're in a different spot right now, and we would probably either we would probably seek to pay you out at this stage and us resuming to run the company. But that's not what I'm proposing. I'm saying that unless you come to the stage that you do as much as you can as well to facilitate a potential sale, otherwise I think there won't be any benefits for you long term financially. So I think we very much have a common objective here.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, of course. But yeah. What would make this deal work for me? I'm also, as you suggested, I try to be as rational as possible. Because you see, I would say fairly that I have a strong hand in the law, because I was sacked from the company, and there were some stuff in the emails which were not correct. And you guys also blasted emails to the industry, which hurt my employability and the salary I own and my reputation. So these are strong claims in the law, and I can anticipate what will be coming out from the lawsuit. I can say honestly that it will be more it will be more good news for me rather than you guys.
I have different information on that. I'm advised that the chances of your lawsuit being financially productive are relatively low. If it is financially productive, I highly doubt that it's even close to a potential financial compensation which you get from selling your third of a stake well.
But I can still sell that, right? I can keep the lawsuit. So are you telling me that the lawsuit will hurt the company so that I will be losing money from 1/3 of the shares, and the financial compensation that I can have from the law will not compensate that? Is that what you're saying?
Is the lawsuit only in relation to I think the lawsuit is in relation to two elements. You would ultimately, the lawsuit would determine how much we have to pay for your shares and compensation.
Yep.
Those two elements.
Yep.
I.e., I think the outcome of the lawsuit would be that you would have a structure whereby we would pay you out. That is the way I understand the situation. I.e., there would be no situation whereby you would just get compensation and you would continue being a shareholder.
How does your offer differ from that?
Sorry?
How does your offer differ from that? So the law basically will say this guy owns 1/3 of the company, and this is a fair valuation of the company as of now, and this guy needs to get this money to go to sell his shares.
So I think that I think that it poses a tremendous risk for you because I think legally, first of all, I'm informed that your the ability to claim as a high financial reward out of it is relatively low. I think that you would again lose all upside. It would be a one-off payment now. It would be kept. It would look at the current situation. As I said to you, I think the current situation is somewhat influenced by external factors. I think over the next 2-3 years we could very much improve that. You could share all the upside. So I think that the likelihood that you would financially benefit from it is not very high.
Okay, I get it, but you are still talking about probabilities here. You are promising me that the business will turn around in the next 2 to 3 years, and you are telling me that the business has been suffering since the last 4 years. And you guys had the business running, right? I'm not responsible for that. You guys just sacked me and I'm out of business and now you are suffering. Okay, it's not basically my problem, although I have like financial interests and everything. And the law can value a company pretty fairly, if you ask me. There will be no discussion if it's based on profits, if it's based on revenues and everything. Like, it's the law. They will ask some expert, and some expert will come up with a meaningful number. So I don't see what you really offer me. You tell me. Just forget the valuation that the law will provide you with, which is, I would expect a fair valuation, and just drop your expectation of a compensation from the law as well. Okay, and what do I get when I do that? I get the 1/3 of the equity value that I already am entitled to, and I should wait for that for another 2 to 3 years. This is not a certain and instant closure as well. I still have to come to the meetings for 3 years.
Sure, but the way I'm informed is that you would run through the lawsuit, yeah? Lawsuits take a long time, yeah? It may take
maybe another year.
It may take another 1 to 2 years until there will be a conclusion. The conclusion may well be at quite a low level, and then that is essentially what you're capped at.
I think you guys should pay me to drop the lawsuit. That's what I think, honestly.
I have huge difficulty accepting that per se because I think that the lawsuit was a mutual tit for tat, and I don't want to go back to the reasons, but
you want me to drop it, right?
yeah, but maybe we can find a situation. Yeah, maybe we can find a different solution than compensating you for dropping the lawsuit. Yeah, maybe we can find a.
Okay. Just pause it. Okay. Now I'm back into it. Yeah. And
I mean, let me think.
because otherwise it's just, I don't know, showing some goodwill for nothing. That's how I feel. We didn't have the most pleasant experience, so I find it really hard to trust you guys again. That will be showing goodwill for nothing.
I could think about the following structure. Difficult. Do you have any proposals from your side?
I would assume that since I asked for it and since you guys were okay with it, at least a few years ago, like 7 million was a fair valuation of what I had, like 1/3 of the company.
How does that make sense if the company is currently worth 7 million and you get 7 million paid as compensation?
Are you really sure that the company is valued at 7 million?
As maximum, yes.
Today?
Yes. So, from my perspective, that's not really a reasonable proposal.
Okay, I will just, okay.
In fact, actually, going back to the point, having looked at it, like for like, we are looking at a 2.9 million valuation at the moment on a profit basis.
Per person?
No, for the company.
You said it was 7 million.
That was revenue based. I found the profit based numbers.
But I think the correct way to, the last time I was consulted about this, people told me that it made more sense if this would be revenue based. And I can see also you have some level of confusion.
But you said earlier profit based, no?
No. You guys suggested to value it according to profits, and it didn't make sense. Like all the experts in the industry and all the I received consulting as I approached you guys, and everybody was telling me to make the valuation according to the revenues. Maybe you guys also get some consulting about that. I wouldn't mind, and I wouldn't object if some other third party would come and just determine the right way to make a valuation for the company. I wouldn't mind, and I wouldn't object. It's better than us trying to figure out numbers. it's better than us just discussing what would be the real value of the company. Just get some third party outside people to tell us what the real value of the company is.
Look,
and of course, yeah.
And in the interest of time, I could propose the following, which would be we appoint a third party to do a company valuation objectively, according to industry standards. We then do the following, that I would, so bless you, so on the valuation, a third of the valuation, yeah, I would put as a minimum threshold, as a guarantee amount into the contract, i.e. when it would come to sell the company and this would not be reached, you would still get that minimum threshold 100%, yeah, but you would enjoy unlimited upside.
Okay, so if
which should be in your interest as well. You could get unlimited upside, but equally, if the company does not perform over the next 1 or 2 years, you're still guaranteed your third share of the current valuation.
Okay, so even if the company value would go down, you just promise me to get the value today.
So an independent person determining the value today, of that value you get your 33%, so a third of that value, and that would be your entitlement.
And when it goes up?
You get a third of the number when it goes up.
Okay, what about okay, that sounds rational, of course. Okay. What do you think about about my reputation in the industry? What do you think about the things people talk? You guys are still partners, right? I'm not. And people
You are a partner.
On paper, yeah. In practice, no. As you say, this is hurting company perception.
Financially, you will be, even one with a downside protection.
But that's a different thing, right? I cannot show my papers for shares to people when they complain about the things we had. And what do you guys think? That was the reason. I cannot take my years back. I cannot take the problems that I had with Karen at home, or I'm doing something very meaningless now in terms of profession, and I love what I do. I'm passionate about what I do. But I'm now an employee rather than being a technical co-founder. So that was the reason why I pushed for compensation. I don't care about money. I don't care about money. I don't understand for money. I already asked people, how can we value the company that I founded? So that I don't care for money. But the compensation I asked you guys for was for a price in my head that I could get for everything that I've been through. So what do you guys what do you guys think about my reputation in the industry and everything you guys told to the industry, like the emails you sent? And
I mean, I personally still think that you have still a good reputation within the industry, and you're well regarded for what you are. I mean, part of this process is also to put a closure to it from both sides, because I think simply everyone knowing that us three founders are separated doesn't help either of us. I'm very happy to include a clause in our memorandum of understanding, which will first of all focus on that if any sale happens, that that in any statement it's clean. It's mentioned that us three were the co-owners and we sold the business, and that we would refrain from any subjective commenting on the situation with you not having been present over the past 5 years.
I get it, but
so we would
You already had to mention me as a co-founder,
Yeah,
right?
sure, but I'm just saying, I would promise, like, let's stay away from the emotional mistakes which we did in the past, and I admit we've done our mistakes too. And on a more personal basis, I just want to say that I see this as a first step to, I don't know if this relationship is repairable, I don't know that, but I see it as a first step of at least doing something about it and improving it. And so I also want to give you my word of that I at least have all the best intentions and try to, have a better interaction in the future. It's a small industry. It's not good for either of us.
Okay. I think what finally would make sense is for me to get some, I don't know, publication from you guys to the overall industry about me. And I don't know if it's, as you say, I don't know if you guys can repair it, but the emails you send to people and I don't know, the things people talked about just hurt me both in professional and personal sense. I would expect a statement about that, and I think I still am entitled to the compensation that the law was.
I think what we could do, obviously, in a press release, following the sale, we could first of all we can work on the press release together. Yes, we can put a clause in that it has to be subject to your confirmation and our confirmation. That we work on it together, and we could certainly include something like that. We could include that it was your technical expertise which helped the company grow and come to fruition. Yes, we could stress that.
Okay. Lastly, what about the 200K compensation that the law thinks I'm entitled to?
Thomas, from my side, first of all, I've been informed that it's extremely uncertain, to what degree you would get a compensation. As I said before already, for me, the compensation in a sense is that I'm guaranteeing you a minimum threshold for the sale of the company. I do not want to go above and beyond. I will not give you unlimited upside, a downside protection which you have, and compensation. For me, the downside protection, the press release, and also my personal word, I think that's just, this is also personal. For me, that's my last offer.
Okay, so I get today's valuation at least, and if it goes up, I get 1/3 of that, and I get a press release to the industry that we worked on together, and we will do the valuation with a third party, not with you guys. Not with discussions about is it based on profits or revenue. It will just an objective third party, and we should also get this into an official contract.
Sure.
What you talked.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
That was tough.